Hey, how's it going? It is your muscle building coach, Lee Hayward, back again with a live video chat. So for the next half hour or so, I'm going to be hanging out here on YouTube doing a live video Q&A. So if there's anything that you would like to have covered, any questions that you have about training, nutrition, building muscle, losing fat, any specific challenges that you're dealing with when it comes to your workouts or your diet, please feel free to post those in the video chat window, and I'll do my best to help you out in any way that I can. So I'm just getting things set up here now to get ready for our video chat. So let's get this. Okay. Shoot, I'm trying to get my windows aligned here properly, and they're not cooperating with me. Here, let's see. We go. Okay, good stuff. All right, we got several people joining us live here now. Bine's joining us, Mark, Bishk, Wolf. Hey guys, nice to have you joining in. So again, I'm just going to basically, like I said, hang out, shoot the shit, have some fun here for the next half hour. So if there's anything that you would like to discuss, please feel free to do so, and we'll take it from there. All right, got lots of people joining us live. It's good. Thanks for tuning in. I just want to make sure that you can hear me, see me, that the audio is coming through loud and clear, that the video's streaming fine. So before I actually start answering questions, could some of you guys who are watching this live right now just give me a little thumbs up there in the comment section of the video chat to let me know that you can actually hear me and see me, and that this is coming through live before I actually start, becoming a talking head here and everything seems fine. Good. All right. I always like to do that check before I start, because I have that sometimes. I'll get on rambling on for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden I realize the audio wasn't coming through, or the video wasn't, was freezing up or whatever. So again, thanks for that. I always like to do that little check before we get underway. Okay, let's see what we got here. Mark is joining us, and he's got a question. Please answer. He says, I've been off training with depression for the last year and trying to get back at it. I'm not sure if there's any other questions there, or if that was it. All right. That's an interesting topic. Now, I'm not a doctor or a psychologist. I mean, this is kind of a, a weird way to start our video chat, but this is a real issue, mental issues, depression and all that. And everybody goes through some of these phases from time to time, but obviously some people experience it in more severe cases than others. I mean, nobody in their right mind is going to be happy and excited all the time. We're always going to have stress, and life's going to throw crap your way, and you're going to have to deal with, setbacks, right? We're all going to have that. Now, of course, sometimes it can be varying degrees. It can be a minor little setback that just makes you pissed off for a few days, or it can be a major issue that really, is traumatizing to your life, or it can be a medical issue. So if you are suffering from depression, you really need to figure out and kind of nail down, well, what is it? Is it just kind of your reaction to a stressful situation? Is it a chemical imbalance in your body or whatever? So you kind of have to do your own, I guess, analysis there to determine, do you need help? And if there's any doubt in your mind, and this is a serious thing, then obviously get yourself some help, right? I don't want you to try and suffer it out on your own. As far as weight training, I mean, that's what I'm here to talk about, weight training. So a lot of times working out is one of the best things you can do to elevate your mood. I mean, if you're feeling like crap, and you're not feeling like going to the gym, and you're just, so much stress and stuff is coming at you, very often just getting yourself to the gym and going through a workout, even if it's not, a properly structured workout routine or anything like that. I mean, just the fact of exercising, getting your body moving, getting your endorphins going and all that, your blood circulating, heart rate elevated, that just releases all these natural feel-good hormones and chemicals in your body. And more often than not, if you're feeling like crap before you go to the gym, almost like 99% of the time, you'll feel better physically and mentally and emotionally afterwards. So keep that in the back of your mind. If you're like debating whether or not you should be going to the gym, sometimes just realize, if I force myself to do it, then afterwards I'm going to feel better because of it. And I've gone through situations like that myself, where I've you know, I'm like, oh, I'm busy, I'm not feeling up to it, I really don't know if I want to go to the gym today. And then either I force myself to do it, or maybe I got someone that I was working out with and they say, hey man, I'm counting on you, come to the gym. Or, you know, sometimes it's my wife gives me a kick in the ass and says, Lee, go to the gym, you'll feel better afterwards. And 99% of the time, that's the situation. You do feel better afterwards. But what I would suggest, if you're just getting back into training, don't put too many expectations on yourself. Start off small and just focus on going through the motions. Simply showing up and doing anything. I mean, a little circuit routine with the machines, just some cardio on the treadmill. Just keep it simple. It doesn't have to be some big, elaborate, you know, structured weight training program. Simply moving your body and exercising on a regular basis should be goal number one. You know, get yourself consistent. Get into the habit of going to the gym and just take it from there. Build on that. Build on the momentum. Get the momentum going, because momentum works both ways. You can have momentum in a positive direction where it's pushing you forward, or you can have momentum in a negative direction where you're spiraling downhill and you just, like say, you get stuck in a rut and you can't get yourself out of that rut. So try and get some positive momentum going. And again, I wish you all the best. All right, let's move on. Let's see what other questions we've got coming through. Bind is joining us. He says, I've been cutting for a month. However, my weight has stalled for a week now, but I'm still getting stronger. I have a 500-calorie deficit. First off, cutting for a month is not a long time. I mean, I don't know your specific situation, like how much body fat you're carrying or what your fat loss goals are. But again, a month is very short in the greater scheme of things. So my advice is just to keep with it. And the way you're going to find your results with cutting is it comes in spurts. Like generally speaking, once you start a fat loss diet, you're probably going to lose weight fairly quickly initially. And that's usually your body just losing excess water weight, bloat, intestinal bulk, all just getting the gunk out of your system, because obviously you're focusing on eating less food and eating better quality food. So a lot of times that initial weight loss is just water and bloat and gunk coming out of your system. So you may lose 5+ pounds in that first week. After that, it's going to start to slow down a little bit. You know, your first week, say 5+ pounds. Next week, maybe 3 to 4 pounds. The following week, 2 to 3 pounds. And then you're going to get into that 1 to 2 pound per week thing. And that's what most fat loss experts recommend, is strive to lose 1 to 2 pounds per week. And realize that the longer you follow a fat loss diet, the more you're going to be into that lower range. I mean, if you get down to, you know, the later phases of a cutting program, if you're still losing a pound per week, that's really good progress. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. Another factor that you have to look into as well is how much weight are you carrying. I mean, obviously someone who's really overweight, got a lot of weight to lose, they can lose weight faster than someone who's relatively lean and is trying to like cut up to get 6-pack abs. Like for example, like a bodybuilder peaking for a competition. I mean, they're not starting their diet like obese or anything like that. They're just starting it, you know, smooth, and they want to go from smooth to ripped. That's a lot different than someone who's going from obese to lean. That's, you know, 2 totally different scenarios altogether. So that has a big impact on your cutting and the rate of fat loss and everything else, how long you have to diet for. But the fact that you're stalled for 1 week, I would not worry about it. I would recommend that you stick it out for another week and see what happens, because you may not lose any weight this week, and then next week you may drop a couple pounds. The body is weird like that. I usually use 2 weeks as my benchmark. If I go 2 weeks without any progress, you know, if I'm coaching somebody or anything like that and we're following a cutting program, if they go for 2 weeks with no progress whatsoever, or worse, they start to go in the opposite direction, start to gain weight, then we need to make some changes, either changes to the diet, changes to the cardio, or to the training program, or whatever. And it's weird how this works, because if you're very strict with a cutting program and, you know, your calories are low, you're not cheating on your diet, you're doing your cardio like clockwork, you're doing your weight training like clockwork, and everything is spot on, and you know you are, then in a situation like that, sometimes actually bumping up your calories temporarily can help, because maybe you're slowing your metabolism down from being too strict. You know, when you are overly restrictive with your calories and you're you're pushing yourself hard in the gym, that can trigger the natural survival mechanisms in your body where it actually slows down your metabolism and you cling to stored body fat. I mean, it actually makes it harder to burn. So temporarily cycling your calories, or having a high carb refeed phase or something like that, can help bump up your metabolism, elevate your metabolic hormones, thyroid and leptin and all those things, and it actually starts the fat loss process again. And anyone who's ever worked with me, like getting a customized diet plan, more often than not, I do implement some form of calorie/carbohydrate cycling in there to prevent these metabolic slowdowns from happening. So, one of the big mistakes a lot of people make is they follow a low-calorie diet all the time. And what happens is, you make great losses, I should say, great losses for the first few weeks, and then all of a sudden it's like you hit the brick wall because your metabolism starts to slow down. And that's when you need to implement some sort of strategic refeed phase in there in order to bump up your metabolism and get things working again. Now, on the other side of the coin, some people are cutting and they say they're cutting and everything else, but they're not really strict. Every other day they're having a cheat meal, or they're skipping cardio sessions here and there. So if you know that you're not really giving it 100%, then simply giving it 100% may be the key. But if you are spot on with your diet, spot on with your training, then sometimes you actually need to implement some higher calorie refeed phases there to bump up your metabolism and get things moving again. But again, you've only been 1 week with no results. Give it 1 more week before you make any changes. Don't want to be too drastic and haphazard with it either. You want to be strategic and give your body time to respond. Anyway, let's move on. Let's try to get some more questions answered. Got Tommy is joining us saying, "What's up, man? I'm doing good. Thanks for joining." Mr. Fernandez is joining us. Daniel is joining us. Wolfie is joining us. Hey guys, nice to see you. Okay, everybody's. Okay, second. Now I just skipped a question there. Where we are. All right. Is people saying, is this pre-recorded? No, this is live right now. I'm actually, well, obviously, if you're watching this on September the 8th, it is live. If you're watching it later than that, it is the recording. So, but right now we are live. My computer's making a weird noise. I don't know if you can hear it on the audio. It's almost like the fan is buzzing or something. Just let me see. Yeah. Give it a smack. It was literally, the fan was buzzing. Must be some dirt around the fan. I could hear it like making some weird buzzy noise. Okay, just a second, guys. I lost my place in the video chat there. All right, I'm 5'7", I weigh 60 kilos. I do not whether to bulk up or cut. If I start bulking, I start seeing an increase in fat. Please help. That is a good question, and a lot of beginners go through this. Should I bulk? Should I cut? And I actually made a YouTube video about this not too long ago. If you go on YouTube and just search for Lee Hayward, should I bulk or should I cut? You'll find that video. But I'm going to give you a quick and summarized answer right here. Neither. If you're in that situation, you're starting off and you're in that skinny fat, yes, you'd like to build some muscle, but I'd like to lose some belly fat at the same time. What do? Don't focus on bulking. Don't focus on cutting. Simply focus on eating as clean and healthy as you can. So obviously with your diet, clean protein, lots of veggies, clean complex carbohydrates. Keep your diet as clean and natural and unprocessed as possible. So if there's any junk food or processed food or crap that you shouldn't be eating, cut that stuff out and focus on replacing it with clean, natural, wholesome, nutritious food. Think about fueling your body rather than just satisfying your appetite. Fuel it with quality nutrition. Step one. Once you're doing that, then get yourself on a structured weight training program and cardio. So it could be like one day you're doing a weight training routine, next day you're doing cardio. Then weight training one day, cardio the next, then alternate it day for day like that. That's a great way to structure both weight training and cardio into your routine, and it keeps your body physically active every day. So that's going to help to bump up your metabolism. It's going to help to burn fat and just increase your whole metabolic processes in your body. And simply focus on increasing your athletic performance, improving your cardiovascular fitness, improving your strength in the gym, lifting more weight, getting more reps, improving your work capacity. And don't even worry about your body composition. Don't think, oh, I'm not gaining weight fast enough, or I'm not losing fat fast enough, or any of that. Like, forget your body. Just focus on being consistent with your nutrition, consistent with your training, and focus on improving your athletic performance. And as a side effect of getting stronger, of getting more muscular endurance, and as a side effect of being consistent with your diet and training, your body is going to change automatically. But what you're going to see is you'll see the performance changes first. So you will see strength gains before you see muscle gains. You know, you will see your cardiovascular conditioning and endurance improve before you see the fat dropping on the scale. So focus on the performance and, of course, being consistent with your routine, and then the physical results will follow. But again, don't get hung up on bulking or cutting or anything like that. Get hung up on the habit and the lifestyle, the bodybuilding lifestyle, and making that, you know, a regular part of your lifestyle, the training, the nutrition, the cardio, all that stuff, and then the results will come. After you've been doing that for several months or even for a full year, then you can kind of tweak your program based on how your body is responding. You know, if you are on the skinny side and you do want to fill out your frame with more muscular body weight, then obviously you can tip the scales towards more mass building with a higher caloric intake. If you're, you know, you've got good mass, but you still got that excess body fat, you know, after 6 months or a year, then we can focus on cutting. But don't start off thinking of bulking or cutting. Start off thinking of consistency and just getting yourself in good overall shape. And that will make the process a lot easier, and you'll actually get better results from it that way. All right, let me give that. Oh, I got to clean the fan on my computer. I haven't. I'm running this on my desktop, and normally I do most of my computer work on my laptop. And this old desktop is just sitting here most of the time. I don't use it that often, so there's obviously dust built up in the fan, and I can hear the fan grinding. I don't know if it's coming through there on the camera or not, but I can hear that the poor old fan is working hard, so I'm going to have to take it out and clean it up. All right, moving on. What other questions we got? Mo Hani is joining us. And he's, sorry, that was the question I just answered. Daniel got a question. What is the best way to bulk but avoid putting on fat, trying to eat as healthy as possible, but always go straight to the midriff? Depending on the situation, the previous question that I just answered may be appropriate for you. If you're still within your first year of training, I wouldn't even worry about bulking or cutting. Again, just focus on your athletic performance. If you're beyond that, then you can be more specific with your training. And one of the things that will help you with a clean bulk, gaining weight without getting fat, is treat your bulking program with the same type of mentality that you treat a cutting program. And what I mean by that is the same type of nutrition consistency, the same type of nutrition quality. A lot of people, when they go bulking, they think of simply sheer calories and, you know, I can eat what I want because I'm bulking, or, you know, a bit of junk food or hamburger and fries or a slice of pizza. That's okay because I'm bulking. And what ends up happening is the extra food, especially processed food, it gets easily stored as body fat. But if you keep your food choices as clean as you can, again, lean protein, green veggies, complex carbs, you know, fruit in moderation, and just keep it as clean and natural as possible, and just have a slight caloric surplus. It doesn't take, you know, massive caloric surplus. Like, let's say your maintenance calories is 3,000 a day. Then start off eating, say, 3,500 calories a day, just a 500 calorie surplus, and see how your body responds. Now, don't like automatically slam back 5,000 calories a day thinking that's what you need to grow, because your body only needs a slight surplus. If you provide it with excess, even excess protein, you know, or excess healthy food, it can still store that as body fat. So you only want a slight caloric surplus to allow your body to grow. Try not to force it to grow through just sheer food volume. So again, keep your food as clean as possible, a slight caloric surplus, work in 500 calorie increments. So 500 calories over maintenance, see how that works. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then try bumping it up another 500 and just tweak it in these 500 calorie increments. And another tip that's going to help is don't neglect cardio. A lot of people, when they're bulking, they think cardio is the enemy, but it actually can be your ally if done in moderation. So cardio can actually help you to make leaner gains. It can help speed up your recovery from your weight training. It serves as like an active recovery workout. And again, it helps to just prevent you from gaining excess body fat while you're in the process of bulking up and putting on lean muscular body weight. So give those tips a try. And if you just go on YouTube and do some search for like Lee Hayward clean bulking or bulking up without gaining fat, you should find some videos, because I've made several videos on this topic before, and you know, probably going into more detail than I just did here. So again, I do have some tips and suggestions that can help you there. This one's from Michael. Do you strongly recommend hand signals on the bike or on a run? I think that depends on where you live. I mean, where I live, I don't use hand signals when I'm out for a bike ride, because normally I'm out in the trails or somewhere like that. I'm not out, you know, riding through the city or something like that. But if you're in an urban area and there's lots of traffic and it's kind of, you know, other people are using hand signals in order to direct themselves, then yeah, I would recommend it. But that really depends on where you're to. Okay, we got Moses Escobar saying, hello Lee, lately I've been having problems with my wrist when I bench press. How can I fix that? All right, you may have strained your wrist through training. I mean, the wrist is a very fragile. I mean, it's a small joint. There's a lot of, you know, tendons and ligaments there. It's a very mobile joint, because obviously you have hand movement. So it's easy to injure small joints like this. So, I mean, you may have just strained it doing whatever. It could be weight training, could be other, you know, tasks, you know, it could be doing chores or garden work or lifting, you know, grocery bags. Anything can sometimes strain your wrists or whatever. But if you're finding it only with the bench press, then I would look into how you're gripping the barbell when you bench press. A common mistake a lot of people make is when they're grabbing the barbell, I don't know if I can try to show you here on the camera, they put the barbell in the palm of the hand too high. So it's not directly in line with the forearm, but rather it's higher in the hand, and this causes your hand to bend backwards and places a lot of strain on your wrist that way. Try and grip the barbell so that you keep your hand more in alignment and that it's directly over your forearm. And by doing that, it's going to take a bit of getting used to, especially if this is a new technique for you. But by doing that, it's going to help to solidify, you know, your hand, your wrist, and it just keeps everything in proper alignment. Most likely, you'll probably be able to bench press more weight once you get used to it, but it's going to be safer on the wrists. Another thing you can do is wear wrist wraps in order to support your wrists when benching. A lot of powerlifters wear these. And that's what I would recommend, powerlifting wrist wraps, not these little cheap Ace bandages that you get at the drugstore or somewhere like that. Get yourself a proper set of powerlifting wrist wraps and wrap your wrists before you bench press. And I have videos on YouTube explaining how to use powerlifting wrist wraps. Like, literally, go on YouTube, go on search, type in Lee Hayward wrist wraps. Wrist wraps. There is a difference between wrist straps and wraps. Straps are the ones that you use to help reinforce your grip. You wrap the strap around the barbell to help reinforce your grip. Wrist wraps are actually a wraparound for a support. So do a YouTube search for Lee Hayward wrist wraps, and you'll find demos. I actually explain exactly how to set them up for different types of lifting, because there's a way to wrap your wrists for bench pressing. There's a way to wrap your wrists for deadlifting or just general training, and it varies. There is a right and wrong way to go about wrapping your wrists to get the maximum benefit. And I have a YouTube video that actually demonstrates that. So again, just do a search for it and you should find it. But that will make a big difference. That will help to support and keep your wrists in proper alignment while you bench. All right, move on. Okay, Soham's asking, should beginners do feeder workouts for faster results? And I'm going to err on the side of no. What a feeder workout is, for those who are not familiar with it, it's basically like an extra workout that you're going to do in addition to your main training session. I'll give you a simple example that you can use. Let's just say you want to prioritize your chest. A lot of guys do. Who doesn't want a bigger chest, right? So you're doing your chest workout at the gym every week, but in addition to that, you're doing some push-ups at home to help pump extra blood and nutrients into your chest, help spur on some extra growth. So you do one big chest workout a week at the gym, but then, you know, every other day at home, you're banging out 2 or 3 sets of push-ups to help pump extra blood. And thus, you know, it's feeding your workout with a supplementary exercise or supplementary workouts. For a beginner, that may be too much. Now, when I say a beginner, I'm talking about someone who's like brand new to weight training. You know, you're just getting started. You're still within your first few months of lifting. Simply going through a regular workout routine where you're going to the gym 3 days a week, that's intense enough. You know, that's going to be more than enough muscle stimulation for your body. And you don't want to push your recovery limits, because as a beginner, your work capacity and your recovery levels are not the same as someone who's more advanced. Feeder workouts are more for the advanced person, someone who's trying to bust out of a plateau, who's already been working out for a year or two or longer. It's not a beginner tactic. It's more of an advanced training tactic. So no, I would not recommend them for beginners. How old are you? I am 38, going to be 39 next month. Next one. That was from Craig. Actually, Craig asked how old I was. Uniform, I think that's the username, says, Lee, do you have stretch marks? And if so, what do you do about them? Quite honestly, you do nothing about them. I'm serious. I have some stretch marks around my chest tie-in area. I even have some in my arms around the elbow bicep area, but they fade with time. I mean, there's really nothing you can do about it. I mean, if you're in the process of actually getting them, where you're getting a new stretch mark, you're in that growing phase, you're young and your body is growing and stuff like that, then you can try stretch mark creams like moisturizers and stuff like that, help kind of make your skin more supple and hopefully to minimize stretch marks. Like you go to the drugstore or the pharmacy and ask for stretch mark cream, they'll probably have them there. A lot of pregnant women use these creams on their stomach and that when they're expecting rapid growth to just kind of minimize stretch marks. And, you know, it's kind of hit or miss. I mean, even if you use these creams and lotions and all that, you may still get stretch marks. And bottom line, it's no big deal in the greater scheme of things, because a stretch mark is going to fade and become the same color as your skin. And you're not really going to notice it. I mean, yeah, if you really get down and examine yourself really close up, you may see them, but again, they're not going to hinder you. They're not going to cause any pain or discomfort, or they're not even going to be noticeable to 99% of the people who see you. It's only, it's basically the problem is up there. It's not a physical problem for the most part. Now, I know some people who are like obese, or again like a pregnant woman or whatever, they may get some severe stretch marks, but the good news is that they do fade with time. And if you are in that phase, the creams may help. So the stretch mark creams and lotions and stuff like that. As far as removing them once you've already got them, there's not a whole lot. I think they can be surgically removed, but it would have to be pretty damn severe for me to even recommend surgery for a stretch mark, because again, it's not something that's going to have any negative impacts on your life or performance or anything like that. It's just a cosmetic thing. I know some guys look at them as like a badge of honor. Hey, I got stretch marks on my arms because my arms grew really well, or something like that. A lot of people look at it almost like a trophy, if you will, like battle scars. It's a trophy that you can wear with pride. Anyway, let's move on. I got the question there, skinny fat, should I bulk or cut? I've already answered that one previously from another user, so you've probably already got your answer. Mark is thanking me for answering his question. You're welcome. Killa2469 says, is it bad to work out 5 days a week for the upper body, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and lower body, Tuesday and Thursday? That's actually, a pretty good training split. And when it comes to the way your body recovers, a lot of times your lower body takes longer to recover than your upper body. The muscles of the legs are big muscles, and obviously you can train them heavy. You can, break down the muscle tissue, and a lot of times it takes longer to recover from a leg workout than it does from an upper body workout. So the way that you have your workout structured, where you're doing 3 upper body days and 2 lower body days, that's actually, you can make that work, and it actually works for ideal for the way your body naturally recovers. Now, of course, there's a lot of different variables within that training split. I mean, what exercises are you doing? What body parts? You know, how many sets, reps, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of variables and variety that we're not even discussing here. But the idea of training your upper body a little bit more frequently is in balance and proportion, or maybe you want to bring up your upper body, that will be totally fine. Now, if your upper body lags behind, or sorry, if your lower body is lagging behind in your upper body, then I would probably either balance it out or even give priority to your lower body. Now, you want to do that. You want to prioritize your weaker body parts to help build balance and proportion. All right, a few people are asking again, is this live? Yes, this is live right now. If you're watching it on, you know, September the 8th. If you're watching it after that, you're watching a recording. But right now we are live. Sharon's left a comment saying, exercise is the most underrated prescribed medication for depression, stress, and anxiety. Gyms should be by prescription. I totally agree. That was in response to one of the earlier questions I answered about training while suffering from depression. John is saying a bad workout is better than no workout. Sometimes that's true. As long as you don't get yourself injured, a bad workout is better than no workout. I agree. Andy is joining us. It says, my gains are coming along nicely. My chest is developing unevenly, though. My left pec is noticeably larger than the right. Any tips on balancing them out without neglecting the left? Yes, you can do single limb training, or you can do exercises where you're engaging both the left and right sides simultaneously. Things like dumbbell bench presses, dumbbell flies are great for working each side of the chest independently. You can also incorporate independent machines like the hammer strength machine that allows, you know, each side to move independently. This is going to help to activate both sides equally. Cable crossovers, another one, going to help activate both sides equally. Try to avoid things like barbell bench presses, bench press machines like the chest press or the Smith machine that will allow an uneven workload. And what I mean by that is, if you're doing a machine exercise, let's say you're using the chest press machine, it's possible that your stronger side will overcompensate for your weaker side and you wouldn't really know it. Same with like a Smith machine, or even a barbell bench press for that matter. I mean, you can, you know, unconsciously press more with your stronger side and still, you know, do the exercise with decent form, and you may not even notice it. So it's possible for your stronger side to overcompensate for your weaker side when you're using barbells and machines. But if you're using dumbbells, it forces both sides to handle an equal workload because it's equally split between both sides. You can also do single limb training, and I have a workout playlist. If you go to my main YouTube channel, the Total Fitness Bodybuilding channel, and look under playlists, there's a whole training series covering single limb training. And in that series, I cover workouts for all your major muscle groups using entirely single limb exercises. So exercises for each side of the body. So like single arm dumbbell bench presses, you know, single arm cable crossovers, single arm push-ups, all that kind of stuff for your chest. And it goes into single arm exercises and single limb exercises for all the major muscle groups, you know, the shoulders, arms, back, legs, everything. So if you are in that category where you're training, you're making gains and everything else, but you're seeing some imbalances between the left and right, then that single limb training routine can definitely be of value. I mean, if you want to follow the exact program just like it's outlined in the videos, that's fine. Or even if you're just taking some tips and implementing a few of the exercises into your own routine, that's fine as well. But again, you need to do some sort of training where you are dividing up both sides of the body independently, and that will help to balance it out. Now, realize that you may never develop a perfectly balanced physique. And I'm going to give you some real world examples of this. Former Mr. Olympia Jay Cutler is a modern day prime example of this. He had one side of his body that was bigger than the other. If you just do a Google search for Jay Cutler front double bicep, and you'll see, I believe it was his left side was bigger than his right. Left arm bigger, left leg bigger, noticeable. I mean, it was quite honest. You just look at it, you could see one side bigger than the other. Arnold Schwarzenegger, another prime example. His right bicep was way better than his left bicep. Now, if Mr. Olympia can't develop a perfectly balanced physique, and he has the genetics. He has, this is his livelihood, so he has every resource available in terms of trainers and nutrition and supplements and performance enhancements and everything you name. I mean, he has everything available, and he's willing to do anything to reach the highest level. If that person can't develop a perfectly balanced physique, then the odds of you and me developing a perfectly balanced physique is kind of slim to none. But improvement is always possible. So even though you may never be perfectly balanced, you can still make improvements to where you currently are and move yourself in the right direction. So just keep that in mind. I don't want you to stress out like, oh my God, my left pec is a wee bit, bigger than my right, and think, get pissed off and depressed over that. I mean, because in the greater scheme of things, who cares? Probably you're the only one who even notices it anyway. Most people are not as observant and as critical of your physique as you are of your own. So, most people probably wouldn't even notice it unless you pointed it out to them. All right. I know we got a ton of questions come through here, which is great, but I actually have an appointment to get to, and I didn't realize I'm actually running a bit late here now. So I have a dinner appointment that I have to get to. So I'm going to clue this up. Again, thanks guys for tuning in. I really appreciate your support, and I appreciate the questions. I'm going to do another one of these live video chats next week and try to do at least one a week, because it's always cool to do them and stay in touch. So again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your questions, and I look forward to chatting with you again next week. So have yourself a great one. Have yourself a great weekend, and I'll talk to you later. Take care. Over and out.